All right, so Hanuman has found Sita, deep in the heart of Lanka. His whole stealth mission, that's over. The time for sneaking around is done. Now we get to see what happens when one messenger decides, you know what, I'm declaring war on an entire empire, right here, right now.
And with this one single massive shout, he just shatters the peace of Ravana's favorite garden. I mean, this isn't just him saying hello. Oh no, this is a direct challenge. He's basically screaming to the most powerful kingdom on the planet, hey, your walls are down and I'm here to collect. The whole game has just been flipped on its head.
And just like that, the mission goes from 0 to 100. Hanuman just grows. He becomes this immense, towering figure of pure divine power. He's not a spy anymore, not by a long shot. He's a challenger, and he's just standing there, waiting, as the first wave of guards, hearing his roar, come rushing straight towards their doom.
And what's so wild about this first fight is just how unfair it is. I mean, it's a total mismatch. The guards show up with what they know, right? Swords, spears, the usual stuff. But they have no idea what they're up against. This isn't some soldier they can just poke with a spear. Hanuman's tactic is simple, raw, overwhelming power. It's like watching an unstoppable force go up against, well, a very, very movable object.
So this initial fight, it spills over into the main event almost immediately, the total systematic destruction of Ashoka Vatika. And you've got to understand, this wasn't just him throwing a tantrum. No, this was a targeted assault on the biggest symbol of Ravana's power and pride.
His first move is just brilliant. He turns the beautiful garden into his own personal weapon. He's not just snapping twigs here. He is ripping entire, massive trees right out of the ground and using them like giant baseball bats against waves of soldiers.
And absolutely nothing is safe. He's leaping onto these gorgeous pavilions, smashing golden pillars, just tearing the roofs apart. The message couldn't be clearer. All your gold, all your fancy architecture, it means nothing. It can't protect you from this.
The body count for Ravana's army was, well, it was staggering. This wasn't a little scuffle. We're talking hundreds of soldiers. Hundreds! And Hanuman just crushed them, effortlessly. It's kind of hard to even wrap your head around that level of power.
He's literally creating an arsenal out of the chaos around him, swinging tree trunks, throwing boulders like they're pebbles. He even stomps the ground so hard that shockwaves shake the whole island. Lanka's trembling, and I mean that both literally and figuratively.
Okay, so all this noise, all this chaos finally reaches the palace, and Ravana realizes, uh-oh, this is not some random intruder. The first-string guards failed miserably. So what does he do? He sends in the big guns, the elite, the best military commanders he's got.
You'd think that would change things, right? Nope. It makes zero difference. One after another, Lanka's top champions step up to the plate. We're talking Jambumali, Dhumraksha, Akampana. These guys are legends. And one by one, Hanuman just takes them down. He's dismantling Lanka's entire military leadership with this terrifying cold efficiency.
So Ravana's best generals are down for the count. He's got one last card to play, at least for now. He sends his own son, Prince Aksha. And boom. Suddenly, this whole thing becomes personal. This isn't just about an intruder anymore. It's about dynasty. It's about honor. You can just picture it. Prince Aksha rolls up in his war chariot, looking every bit the part, leading his own personal soldiers. You have to give it to him. It's a brave move. This is a desperate, last-ditch attempt to stop the bleeding and bring some kind of order back to his father's kingdom. But here's a really interesting moment. Before they fight, Hanuman actually pauses. He looks at the prince and acknowledges his courage. He basically says, "You're brave, kid. I'll give you that." But then he immediately condemns what he's fighting for. He turns this into a moral showdown. It's not about who's stronger. It's about dharma, about righteousness versus unrighteousness. And the duel that follows, it's fierce, for sure, but it's also completely one-sided. Prince Aksha gives it everything he's got. A storm of arrows, spears, furious attacks. He fights like a lion, but it's just not enough. How can it be? You can't fight divine power with just courage.
And so, in the end, it wasn't even a contest. Hanuman just smashes the chariot, grabs the prince, and the fight is over in a flash. The moment the other soldiers see their prince fall, they're gone. They just break and run in pure terror.
So the fighting in the garden stops. The place is a wreck, ruined buildings, fallen soldiers everywhere.
but the real shockwave of this whole event is just now hitting its intended target.
This is the sound of arrogance meeting reality. Imagine being Ravana. You're sitting in your impenetrable fortress, thinking you're untouchable. And then you get the news. Your garden is destroyed, your best generals are defeated, and your own son is gone. The rage he must have felt is probably only matched by his sheer, utter shock.
And that right there was the whole point. This was never just a random rampage. It was psychological warfare 101. Hanuman's attack was a calculated, strategic message designed to completely demoralize Ravana and prove a very simple point. Your walls can't protect you. Your army can't save you. You are not safe.
So the takeaway message for Ravana, buried under all that chaos, is brutally simple. For the very first time, your fortress has been breached, your power has been challenged, and it failed. The myth that Lanka is invincible, it just got shattered. And the craziest part, it was all done by one guy, a single messenger.
And this is what we're left with. The siege of Ashoka Vatika isn't just a cool battle story. It's a timeless question about the nature of power. It really makes you think, doesn't it? What happens when an empire built on pure arrogance, an empire that thinks it's untouchable, finally comes face to face with a power it can't possibly defeat, can't deny, and can't even begin to understand?